Okay, Voron 0.1 part 3 AB motor units, and let's start with these thingies which have letters A and B, and these funny cutouts. Which each of those parts requires 1, 2, 3 threaded inserts, and while the middle threaded inserts is installed, like the usual, you just flush it until it hits the surface. The two more threaded inserts should be put a bit deeper. So this one is flush. And there are two more that should be sunk a couple millimeters below the surface. Next are these funny forks. And they are also marked because a fork here comes into the A part, like this, and well, the B fork goes into the B part accordingly. Is there any difference if I rotate them? Yes, of course, and there is only one correct direction when you can install, because this is the incorrect one and this is the correct one. Two more threaded inserts should be installed on the counterparts here and here. Time for screws. Let's take 35mm screws, and one screw goes in this big bulge here and another in the middle hole. Again, M3 35mm. Yeah, 35mm. Repeat the same with the second part. And this is the part where the washers, shims, and bearings come in. F63 bearings and 0.5 millimeter shim washers. I'm working on the A drive, so if I position this part like this, the square part is on the right side. And here we go. 0.5 millimeter washer. I'm really having trouble to pick up so many small parts here, so I'll be using tweezers. So there is one washer or shim, there is one bearing, second bearing. I'm not sure how I mean to hold these two in position. Two more washers, one washer and the second one. Two more bearings. And one more washer. So again, let's double check. There is a washer, there is a bearing stack, there are two washers between the bearings, then again bearing stack and one washer. The second part is a bit simpler because it's extremely hard to assemble anyway. There is this spacer. That's actually funny because Voron always says about ultra precise washers, they should be like 0.5 millimeters, and then please print random bearings because you have your ABS too hot. It's like 0.5 millimeter difference. Nevertheless, spacer, washer, two bearings, and a spacer. Hate you. Hate you again. Okay, here it is. Here it is. This is the right one. Not the right one, but the A one. And this is the A counterpart or bottom part. I'm confusing myself. So I'm holding it like this with the threaded inserts on the other side, and I need to push it here in front of the fork. Supposedly I don't have to fix the screws anyway. Now 30mm screws, one here, and as you see it's catching the threaded insert. Another one here. Let me just secure them really quick. This is a bad sound. Listen. But at least I can let this thing go, and I can well, put it on the table. I will loosen it a bit so this part slides freely. We are assembling the A unit, so the A unit should have a toothed part on the bottom, like this. So nevertheless, let's take one grub screw, apply some thread lock, and install it on the shaft. Don't tighten yet because we need to adjust distance. The distance between the neck, the bottom of the motor, and the grub screw should be 8.5 millimeters. And basically flush with motor rod. So I'm fine here, and let's install another grub screw. The motor itself is attached via 4 35mm screws, so I'm not sure which way the motor should be facing. I suppose this is a corner, so I would want the wire to go in another way like this. So let me explain you the positioning of the motors. This part, this is the back of your frame. These 3-4 screws, they are located on the middle of the frame. So basically this is the middle extrusion, and this nut, this one exactly, it is faced inwards into the frame. So if I want my cable management to work, I want these wires to go inside the frame, down the frame. And I suppose these two screws here, they will be attached, let me show you, to these two nuts. The third nut will be the first nut here, and 3 more nuts will be these 3 ones. Looks simple, except of all the pain suffering that I will spend just trying to catch the nuts. Oh no, one screw goes into the extrusion here, and the second nut gets attached here to the screw. The third nut goes here, and yada 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 yada. Let's get to that later, after I'm done assembling the B part. For the B motor's distance between this part of the pulley and the base of the motor should be 17.5 millimeters, I suppose. 5. I don't know, it's a bit higher. It's like this. It's like a tiny bit higher than the shaft. Basically, when you look at the motor here, it should be aligned with the with the bearing stacks. Next stop, Voron's torture chamber. Sorry to say this straight, but to assemble this part, first of all, I need to carefully align these nuts with the screws here. And I have to do it really carefully because otherwise, well, they won't just catch it. So, one screw here should be aligned with the extrusion. Second screw, this one, should be aligned with the first nut. And this screw here, 35 millimeters, well, it will be there later, should be aligned with this nut. Additionally, If you look here, I have to align 3 nuts with new screws from the motor block. So here, here, and here. I'm not sure this is gonna be that simple, but I'm desperate enough to try. I have a new term which was born during the Voron assembly, acceptably square. And here, oh no, it still works. So here it is, AB units assembled and installed. See you in the next video. Bye.